Okay, next up we're going to hear from Lepidico and their Managing Director, Joe Walsh. So, there you go, Joe.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon. So Lepidico is an ASX-listed lithium exploration and development company. We've got a market capitalisation of around $120 million, and our strategy is to develop a fully integrated lithium business right the way through from mine through to production of lithium chemical. Our differentiating factor is the fact that we are looking at developing lithium mica assets and lithium phosphate assets rather than more traditional minerals of spodumene or brines. What allows us to do this is a proprietary process technology called Lmax, and I'll get into that in a little bit more detail in a minute. And the benefits of Lmax are not just that it's a hydromet process that allows us to produce lithium chemical, it actually produces a range of valuable byproducts as well, which means that we're very cost competitive. The first plant that we're looking at building is really proof of commercialization. We call it our phase 1 plant, and that's going to be located in Sudbury in Canada. And we're targeting early 2020 for startup there. The feed going into that plant will be initially from a project in Portugal, but also we've got interests in Australia and Canada as well. And at this point in time, we're well funded. We did a substantial capital raising at the end of last year, which brought Galaxy Resources onto the register. And at the end of December, we had just over $7 million of cash. So to give you a bit of a sense for the company's footprint, our registered office is in Perth in Australia, and we do have some exploration assets in Australia which we're currently drilling on. Our phase 1 plant, as I mentioned, is planned to be built in Sudbury in Canada. The main reason for that is our process is acid intensive. So we'll be using just over 1 tonne of sulfuric acid for every tonne of concentrate fed into that plant. So being close to an abundant low-cost source of sulfuric acid is really driving the location for that plant, along with the depth of manufacturing around the Great Lakes region of North America, which gives us markets for all of our products, in particular the bulk chemical sodium silicate. In Portugal, we have an arrangement with a private Portuguese company called Grupo Mota that operates a lepidolite mine in the north of the country, and I'll give you a little bit more detail on that in a minute. And then we have a letter of intent with Avalon Advanced Materials, who is developing a petalite project in northwest Ontario that also has substantial zones of lithium micas within it. So to focus on Alvaroche, which is the principal feed source contemplated under the phase 1 plant feasibility study, we completed a drill program there last year. It's the first drilling that's ever been done there, even though the mine's been operating since 1992. And we've delineated a 1.5 million tonne resource, grading just over 1% lithium oxide. And this is evident in 2 open pits. So there's about 900 metres of strike that's opened up at Alvaroche. We've drilled out for that resource about 400 metres of strike, and it extends about 500 metres down dip. The tonnage might not appear to be large, but it supports the more than 10-year project life for our phase 1 plant. We're looking at increasing the mining rates here to around 100,000 tonnes a year of ore, which will produce around 30,000 tonnes of concentrate for export. We made an announcement last week on some test work that we've been doing earlier on this year on Alvaroche material. And in addition to the lithium mica concentrate that we can produce, we can also produce a feldspar concentrate and a quartz concentrate. Now, they might not sound very exciting, but the Iberian Peninsula is a very substantial area for ceramics production. And both of those concentrate products are existing products from Grupo Mota, who's our partner here. And both of them appear to be marketable products. So the plant that you see here is an off-the-shelf modular plant called the C plant, which is developed by Utatech. There are a couple of these operating currently. As you can see, all of these modules that form this plant are will effectively fit into 40-foot shipping containers. And this plant will treat around 150,000 tonnes of feed to produce 30 to 40,000 tonnes of mica concentrate. And you can see there some of the benefits of having a modular facility like this in lower capital, lower labour intensity in the plant, and also, importantly, it's relocatable. And we're just doing some test work over the course of the next few months to work out how we need to modify this plant to allow the production of those additional byproducts from the concentrator. And as a result of this plant only producing probably around 20,000 tonnes a year of fines, we won't need a tailing storage facility. So we'll be looking at co-disposing those fines from the plant with mine waste. Last year, Galaxy Resources supported a capital raising that we did and currently owns just under 12% of Lepidico. They operate the Mount Cattlin spodumene operation in Western Australia, as I'm sure many of you are aware. Earlier on this year, we did some test work on some micas that are in the tailings at Mount Cattlin, and we produced battery-grade lithium carbonate from the micas in their tailings. I see this as being more of a medium to longer term opportunity for Lepidico and also for Galaxy, but I think what it demonstrates is the flexibility of our process, that it allows companies that are operating perhaps spodumene mines that have micas within their tailings to maximise the value of their resources. So some of the advantages of our technology, the Lmax process. This is proprietary technology that's patent registered. Importantly, it treats unconventional minerals. You can see the lepidolites, involvite, and bligonite there. All of these dissolve in sulfuric acid effectively. And the process uses conventional reagents in lime and sulfuric acid and has very straightforward occupational health and safety criteria associated with it. The capital equipment in the plant is also relatively straightforward. So the front end of the process is leaching, so it's leach reactors. And then as we go through the impurity removal stages, we're dealing with filtration and crystallization and precipitation. So there's no high pressure in this, it's all atmospheric pressure. Maximum temperature that we use is just around 100 Celsius. And I mentioned earlier, one of the important points here are the byproducts. So our main byproduct is sodium silicate. Before I got involved with Lepidico, I wasn't familiar with sodium silicate, but almost all of us in this room will already have used some today. So it's the main body in detergents, toothpastes, it's the adhesive that bonds corrugated cardboard together. Importantly, it's not recycled in any of its applications. And the market around the Great Lakes region in North America is around 1.5 million tonnes a year. And the leach kinetics on that sulfuric acid leach are rapid. We're talking about residence times of around 18 hours. So the feasibility study for the phase 1 plant is currently considering 3.6 tonnes an hour of feed to produce 3,000 tonnes a year of lithium carbonate. Importantly, the costs are very competitive at around $1,000 to $2,000 US dollars per tonne of lithium carbonate. The location for this plant in Sudbury is on an industrial park. This is the design from Lycopodium. It's a very small footprint, about 100 metres by 70 metres, and on the same site we'll be able to dispose of residues as well. Importantly, specification of product. You can see there we produce a very high spec lithium carbonate with low impurities. And the timeline, we're completing feasibility study later this year. The critical path here is permitting and approvals. Assuming they come in by year end, we'll be looking at final investment decision and then about 15-month build for first production in 2020. Thank you very much.